The Wilkinson family was enjoying a quiet evening at home. Mr. Wilkinson was watching TV in the living room, while Mrs. Wilkinson was helping their daughter Lily with her drawing in the kitchen. The twin boys, David and Andre, were in their room, engaged in an intense game of video football. Suddenly, the serenity of their suburban home was shattered by the sound of the front door being forced open. 3 armed men barged in, their eyes wild with desperation and greed. The intruders thought they had chosen an easy target, a typical family in a typical neighborhood. As the Wilkinson family's peaceful evening was violently interrupted, Mr. Wilkinson's instincts kicked into high gear. He quickly assessed the situation and knew that his first priority was to ensure his family's safety. The 3 armed men had no idea they were up against a seasoned warrior, a man who had faced dangers far greater than this. Little did they know, this was not a typical family. Mr. Wilkinson, known to his comrades as Captain Wilkinson, was a former Navy SEAL and a professional sniper. He selected his weapons with care. He chose a Glock 19, a reliable and accurate semi-automatic pistol. For more controlled engagements, he opted for his custom AR-15, fitted with a suppressor to minimize noise. He also took a tactical knife, a last resort tool he was well versed in using. Years of training and combat experience had honed his instincts and sharpened his resolve. He was a protector, and nothing would harm his family as long as he drew breath. Reacting with the speed and precision that only years of elite training could provide, Mr. Wilkinson sprang into action. He signaled to his wife with a quick hand gesture. Mrs. Wilkinson, knowing the drill, ushered Lily into the hidden panic room beneath the kitchen floor and silently motioned for the twins to follow. As the children and Mrs. Wilkinson secured themselves, Mr. Wilkinson moved silently through the shadows of the house, his mind already mapping out the positions of the intruders. He could hear their heavy footsteps and their attempts to intimidate and locate the family. They had no idea what they were up against. His mind was calm and clear, every movement deliberate. He knew that the element of surprise was his greatest ally. The intruders were noisy and careless, assuming they had the upper hand. They were wrong. He moved stealthily through the house, his training guiding his every step. He heard one of the men moving towards the study, perhaps hoping to find valuables. Mr. Wilkinson positioned himself just inside the door, hidden in the shadows. As the intruder stepped into the room, Mr. Wilkinson struck swiftly, his Glock 19 coming up to aim with precision. A single, suppressed shot was all it took. The man fell silently, his weapon clattering uselessly to the floor. Without pausing, Mr. Wilkinson moved towards the sounds of the second intruder. This man was rifling through drawers in the living room, his back to the hallway. Mr. Wilkinson raised his AR-15, the suppressor ensuring the shot was quiet. He took a breath, aimed, and fired. The intruder crumpled instantly, the shot taking him out before he even realized what had happened. The third intruder was smarter than the others. He had heard something and was now moving cautiously, his eyes darting around in fear. He called out to his fallen comrades, but received no reply. His fear grew, making him reckless. He headed towards the back door, thinking escape was his best option. Mr. Wilkinson anticipated his move. He circled around, using his knowledge of the house to his advantage. He cut off the intruder's escape route, confronting him in the hallway leading to the back door. The intruder raised his weapon, but Mr. Wilkinson was faster. He fired twice, his shots precise and deadly. The third man fell, the fight leaving him before he hit the ground. Mr. Wilkinson scanned the area, ensuring there were no further threats. His breathing was steady, his mind clear. He checked each of the intruders to confirm they were no longer a danger. He then retrieved his phone and called the police, his voice calm and composed as he explained the situation. When the police arrived, they found Mr. Wilkinson standing guard over the 3 subdued intruders, his family safe and sound in the hidden panic room. The officers, well aware of Captain Wilkinson's illustrious military career, were not surprised by his swift and decisive actions. Mrs. Wilkinson hugged him tightly, her eyes filled with gratitude and love. The children clung to him, their hero, their protector. As the Wilkinson family gathered together, the reality of what had happened began to sink in. They were safe, and they had Mr. Wilkinson to thank for it. His skills, honed through years of rigorous training and experience, had saved their lives. That night, as they settled back into the comfort of their home, they knew that no matter what dangers might come their way, they were protected by a true warrior, a man who would always put their safety above everything else. And for Mr. Wilkinson, there was no greater honor than that. The Wilkinson family emerged from the ordeal shaken but unharmed, their bond stronger than ever. They knew they had a guardian in their midst, a protector who would go to any lengths to keep them safe. And though the children were young, they understood that their father was a hero, not just in the stories of his past, but in their everyday lives. As they huddled together that night, grateful for each other and the safety of their home, Mr. Wilkinson looked at his family with fierce love and determination. He knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would always be ready to protect them with every fiber of his being.